Chapter 45, Clear of the Schemes, Unknowingly Trapped in the Urn. Translator, Skypharaoh Editor, Skypharaoh. Hello, young Goo Master. What is the problem here? Jia Fu walked to the middle of the crowd and asked amicably. The young Goo Master was flattered, and he cupped his fists again. Looking at the surrounding clansmen, he bucked up his courage and explained the entire situation. So that's what happened. Jia Fu nodded while listening. Next, he asked Jia Jin Sheng, "Little brother, is this true?" Jia Jin Sheng turned his head away and snorted coldly, not looking at his brother. Jia Fu pondered solemnly. The surrounding people were silent, not daring to interrupt his thoughts. All awaited in anticipation of his verdict. This matter was in fact due to Jia Jin Sheng's scam, but the young Goo Master was also at fault for being greedy and not being vigilant himself. Otherwise, he would not have gotten cheated. If Jia Fu wanted to defend his brother, with his rank 4 cultivation, even the Gu Yue clan leader could not do anything. Jia Fu thought for a while before finally speaking. I've understood the situation. My brother is at fault for this matter, causing this young man to suffer a loss and buy fake products. I am really sorry. Saying so, he cupped his fist toward the young Goo Master. Sir Jia Fu. The young Goo Master was largely surprised and quickly said modestly, You are a rank 4 Goo Master. I am merely a rank 2. This is too much for me. Too much. Jia Fu waved his hand. Hey, this has nothing to do with cultivation levels. I act impartially, regardless of ability. A wrong is a wrong. I apologize to you on behalf of the merchant caravan. As for compensation, how about this? You lost 250 primeval stones, so I will compensate double that amount to you on behalf of the Jia family. He executed his promise immediately, as a follower took out 5 money bags and handed it to the young Goo Master in public. Every money bag was filled to the brim, each containing 100 primeval stones. The young Goo Master took over the money bag, so overwhelmed that he could not say anything. Oh. However, I have a word of advice to you. Jia Fu continued and reminded, a black boar Goo is very rare, for it is able to raise a Goo Master's strength permanently. Although it is only rank 1, it is very hard to find on the market. Every time one appears in the market, it would be bought immediately. The pricing is around 600 primeval stones. Trying to get one with 250 primeval stones is impractical. Junior has learnt his lesson. The young Goo Master bowed deeply to Jia Fu in gratitude. Cheers erupted from the crowd. Sir Jia Fu is brilliant, magnificent, as expected of Sir Jia Fu. As a rank 4 Goo Master, he did not make use of his status to bully the weaker party. Sir Jia Fu really is the role model of the righteous path. No, Jia Fu smiled, cupping his fist toward the crowd, modestly saying, Our Jia family business bases our principles on trust and honesty. Everyone, my brother is young and foolish, liking to play pranks on others. He is actually very kind. I hope everyone can be more bearing of him. Don't take it to heart. The crowd's cheers became even louder. Jia Jin Sheng's expression was ugly as he stomped on the ground and walked into the tent. Next, he walked out from the back of the tent. Fang Yuan looked at this silently, thinking in his heart, it seems that the image wall at the Flower Wine Monk's place can be sold. The Flower Wine Monk had used a photo-audio Gu to record the ugly acts of the 4th generation Gu Yue clan leader. Before he died, with indignance in his heart, used the photo-audio Gu and slapped it on the wall, creating an image wall. The image wall's images continued to loop, showing the truth to the people. With the intention of maximizing his profits, Fang Yuan had wanted to sell this image wall long ago. He believed that the other 2 clan families on Qingmao Mountain, the Bai family and Xiong family, would be very interested in this image wall. But to sell this personally would be very inappropriate. His cultivation was too weak, and if he brought this image wall to the other villages, he could easily be silenced. Even if the transaction was successful and he managed to return safely, there was no secret that would stay a secret forever. And once it was revealed to the Gu Yue's higher-ups, he would be kicked out of the clan family at best. In accordance to Fang Yuan's plans, he still needed to make use of the Gu Yue clan. Thus, the safest way was to sell it to a certain merchant in the caravan. All of them were outsiders and were not involved in the disputes among the villages. Thus, it was the best choice for him. In just one day, this caravan would leave the Guyua mountain village and lead towards either the Xiong family or the Bai family. Fang Yuan could reduce his risks to the minimum by selling to them. It was the safest method. One more cup. Wine, where's the wine? Quickly get me the wine. Are you afraid that I'm unable to pay? Jia Jin Sheng slammed the mushroom table as he howled. Young Master Jia, here's your wine. The clerk quickly brought him his wine. Jia Jin Sheng grabbed the bamboo cup and tilted his head and gulped the liquor. Good wine. He laughed loudly, sounding coarse and bleak. With a bang, he placed the cup on the table and howled again. Get me another glass. I want as many as you can supply. The clerks did not dare to offend him and could only do as he said. Luckily, this wine house was already full of people. Not only were the mushroom tables packed with people, even the surrounding streets were packed with people. Jia Jin Sheng's drunkard temperament was not very peculiar in this bustling street. Jia Jin Sheng drank cup by cup, wanting to drown his sorrows. With his back facing the crowd, no one observed that as he drank, 2 clear lines of tears flowed down his cheeks. Who would know of his pain, his sorrow? A hateful person has to have his pitiful side conversely. Everybody had their own stories. Amongst his brothers, he was the youngest, being the most handsome and resembling his father the most, thus being the most doted by his father. But heaven made fun of him by giving him only D-grade talent. As he grew up, he lived under the pressure of his brothers. He was indignant and wanted to resist, but with that talent, there was nothing he could do. His father felt death approaching and wanted to split his assets. 2 people were to lead a merchant caravan. They pledged to break up the family property in accordance to the results. Jia Jin Sheng wanted to rely on his own method to acquire the family assets and the recognition of his clan, but to think that he became his brother's stepping stone once again. When Jia Fu appeared, he knew he fell into a trap. This was a scheme right from the beginning. But what could he do? Once he entered this caravan, he was doomed to be Jia Fu's fodder. Rank 4 and Rank 1 was such a huge gap that he was powerless to fight again. Jia Fu! He forced this name out of his mouth, his eyes burning with the flames of hatred. He was unable to take it lying down. Do you wish to deal with your brother? I can help you. At this time, he heard a voice. Jia Jin Sheng was stunned, but when he turned around, he saw that for quite a while there was someone sitting beside him. He shook his head and blinked a few times, finally seeing who it was. Who else if not for Fang Yuan? It's you, he stared at Fang Yuan, slightly angry. I remember you. Lucky lad, getting a mud-skinned toad from my gambling den? You're here to mock me? Fang Yuan looked at Jia Jin Sheng, his eyes cold as water. I have a huge business, so if you wish to acquire better results and get more assets, why not listen to me? Jia Jin Sheng was suspicious. His back straightened, and he sat up. How do you know about the matter of the assets? This secret was not easily known to outsiders, but Fang Yuan was easily able to guess it. The Jia family's business is not top secret. How can it evade people who wish to know? Fang Yuan laughed coldly and thought of a memory from his previous life. The Jia family head was a legendary figure who started from scratch. He made his fortune through the merchant caravans and revived the Jia family's village. He gradually got old, and when he could feel that his time was up, he got his children to form a caravan in twos and, according to their results, split the assets. The better they did, the more family assets they get. But his eldest son, Jia Fu, and second son, Jia Gui, were extremely talented. After competing for 6 to 7 years, they still could not come to a conclusion, and even after the family head died, there was no clear victor. After the Jia family head died, there was an enormous amount of assets. While competing for the assets, the 2 brothers' conflict escalated and both called in external help, causing a large-scale Gu competition. Finally, the both of them died. The Jia family that had prospered quickly also failed quickly, causing people to talk about it in amazement. Jia Jin Sheng squinted his eyes, for Fang Yuan's explanation was irrefutable. He thought from the time his father declared the asset distribution, it had already been 2 years. There are no impenetrable walls in the world, so even if someone found out about it, it's nothing strange. His real worry was whether this was another trap by Jiafu, but no matter what, there was no harm listening. Fang Yuan did not speak immediately. He surveyed the surroundings. This was the same wine cellar he came into in the afternoon. The shopkeeper operated independently, and at night the shop was bustling with business. Discussing here was a far safer place than a quiet environment, as it could avoid the eavesdropping of certain goo-worms. He hooked his fingers at Jia Jinsheng. "Lend me your ear." Jia Jinsheng unhappily snorted, but still slanted his head forward. After hearing Fang Yuan's description, he frowned and looked at Fang Yuan coldly. "This business involves the three families on Qingmao Mountain, and we merchants detest getting involved in other people's disputes." You were sent here by Jia Fu to harm me, right?" Fang Yuan had long expected for him to be suspicious. He did not bother to explain, but got up and left. Hey, in that case, I'll go talk to your brother." Jia Jinsheng squinted his eyes, staring at Fang Yin. Only until Fang Yuan had left the wine shop did he lose his patience. He chased out of the tent and caught up to Fang Yuan. "Don't go, we can have a talk." Fang Yuan placed both hands behind his back, staring at him from the side, coldly saying, "I know you were suspicious of me, but now that your brother has you firmly caught, you're almost close to finished. If you choose to believe in me, there's still hope. If not, you're doomed. Are you daring enough to take this bet?" Jia Jinsheng's expression changed as he corrected and said, "Jia Fu is but only a little older. I have never acknowledged him as my brother. But you're right, I'm taking this bet." Fang Yuan said solemnly, 2,000 primeval stones. No haggling. Jia Jinsheng laughed bitterly. "Too expensive. This trade involves high risk. The greater the risk, the greater the rewards." Fang Yuan shook his head, his attitude firm. "If you sell it to those two families, you will only earn much more." Jia Jinsheng nodded, showing a hint of seriousness. "This I believe, for these years the Bai family has been growing fast, and an A-grade talent called Bai Ningbing has appeared recently. He has a great future ahead. Qingmao Mountain situation is gradually changing. Your Guyue family's dominance is wavering, and if I sell this to the Bai family, I can at least earn twice as much." Hearing Jia Jinsheng's understanding of the Qingmao Mountain situation, Fang Yuan could not help but evaluate him again, thinking, "This Jia Jinsheng, he is still a merchant family member after all, not those useless second generations." Jia Jinsheng sighed. "Regardless of whether this is a trap, I'm jumping in. I promise you, 2,000 primeval stones it is. However, I want to see the merchandise first." "Of course. Come with me." Fang Yuan laughed as he led the way. Jia Jinsheng was already trapped in the urn, and the situation was fully in Fang Yuan's grasp.